Good morning. This morning, we're going to address the concept of Beis Din, and I'm going to start with an Indian of smicha. I'm not going to address the smicha of today. It's a different type of smicha. Talk the halachic smicha brought down in the Rambam and in Perek. Yes, there is an Indian of smicha today. That has its value, but that's not the one we're going to talk about. So in Hilchos Sanhedrin, which we have begun learning the final book of the Rambam of the 14 Svarim. So this is Sefer, and this is Sefer Shaftim, and this will lead us to the ultimately to the Siyum Rambam. So the Rambam brings. I want to address a certain issue that keeps coming up. In other words, the Rambam seems to inject Moshe Rabeinu into Beis Din a lot. And it sounds a little as he's pushing the idea beyond what you would expect. So let's begin with today with Perek Halacha Rambam. When the Rambam goes through how smicha comes about, and he said, "Echad bezna godel echad Sanhedrin tano bezna shloisha sorech shia echad men samuch piasak." You have to have somebody who is hasmicha from someone who has smicha, and he's going to explain. Moshe Rabeinu samach Yehoshua biyad. Moshe Rabeinu actually used his hand when he did smicha. Literally, he leaned on him, which that's what smicha is. We know by karbanas there's smicha. He leaned his hand on him and he commanded him. Now, now, it doesn't say that he did his hand, he just gave them smicha. Now, this is the way smicha began and went on. V'nimtzu hasmuchim ish mipi ish. All smuchim are samuch one to the other. Ad Beis Din shel Yehoshua, till the Beis Din of Yeshua. Ad Beis Din shel Moshe Rabeinu, till the Beis Din of Moshe Rabeinu. Echad hanismach b'yad nosi, and b'yachad ben hasmuchim, v'lo hayosh samuch b'Sanhedrin me'olam. They're all smuchim. They all have this smicha attribute given to them. Okay. Just a note in Hilchos Mamrim in Perek Halacha, which Rambam goes through also a reference to Moshe Rabeinu. He brings the Beis Din Gadol, the Amudim of Torah Shebal Peh, and Ara, and everything. And then he says, Moshe Rabeinu. Yeah, Moshe Rabeinu. We're going to see a few more places, Moshe Rabeinu. Okay, but in the Smicha project, why does he need Moshe? Why does he have to go all the way to Moshe? Okay, so if you want to say that it has to be smicha directed, it has to come all the way up till Moshe. So you're right. It should be a hefsek. By the way, the Rambam does clearly hold that even if there is a hefsek, you can resume smicha, and he has his beliefs on that, writes about it in Halacha. But again, it doesn't have to have no hefsek. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, yeah, Moshe Rabeinu's Beis Din is so important. So why does he mention when he goes back that you that the smicha is ad Beis Din Yeshua, ad Beis Din Moshe. Why does he mention Yeshua? Sure, ad Beis Din Moshe. That's the main thing. What does it matter to us that Moshe Seimach Yeshua biyad? And second, he writes clearly in Halacha Beis, the case of the Asmicha L'Deiros, you don't have to put your hand on it. So you don't need it. So why would we need it then? What was the importance of it? Now, if you notice, one of the things he wrote, Moshe did smicha on them, and we were saying on them, and they had shechina. Oh, where did that come in? Oh, well, Yavin doesn't just tell us a story for no reason. What's the shor salem shechina? Main thing is they were samuch. Where did shechina come in? Okay. Yeah, the halacha there in Hilchos Sanhedrin by us. Mi she'enei ra'ui loden. One who is not worthy of being a dayan, a paskening. Me'she'enei yedeyam, me'she'enei hagin shav harash golus v'nos le'rishus, but he got the right to pasken. Ashetol bezdin v'nos le'rishus, what was mistake? Ein arishus me'elis le'klum at she'roi. Doesn't help. You can't take an unworthy person, make him a judge. Boy, that would really, really rock the judicial systems that we have. So the Rambam brings sounds like a far out comparison. Someone who takes a bamun, an animal that has a blemish that cannot be covered as a sacrifice, a carbon, and is magdish, the kedusha is not work. So he asks, so the people ask, where does smicha have to do with a carbon? Where does a carbon coming over there? Very, very strong question. In Hilchos Sanhedrin, also, Moshe goes through what a bezin looks like, 70 people, and he says, therefore, we need 71. And that Beis Din has 70, because it says Israel Shivim Ish Mizikna Yisrael, and Moshe al Gabeim. So here also you get 70, and one person is the head of the congregation of the Beis Din. He's the Nasi. Moshe Rabeinu. Not he is the number, he is the one that stands in place of Moshe Rabeinu. Now again, Moshe doesn't stop with Moshe Rabeinu. Okay? Now, when the Rambam wants to tell you what kind of people are in the Sanhedrin, and where do we get that from? From the pasuk that says, "V'syatzu sham imcha b'deimen loch." Has to be similar to you, Moshe Rabeinu. Chachma v'yirmiyachas. You have to have chachma, yira, and biyuchas. Again, do me the Moshe. Has to be like Moshe. Now, not only that, in Halacha Zayin, the Rambam writes, "Ma Moshe Rabeinu onav, I've called Dayan Sorach Lias onav." Out of all the midas of Moshe Rabeinu, Moshe is a great man, a lot of great midas. If you're onav, and why? Like Moshe Rabeinu. Like Moshe said, midas anovi after midas kama kral Moshe shu onav vayitzavim, because the pasuk says To Moshe, who wasn't on him, you command him. Moshe on him, I'm called Dain on him. So, in other words, everybody has to be like Moshe when it comes to Anivus. Why it's only Anivus? What happened to the rest of Moshe Rabeinu? But one thing it seems clear. Moshe and Beis Din go hand in hand, and the question is how and why. So, perhaps, Rambam writes in Halacha Daled, Ein Kori Lakim ala Beis Din, Shenisma Beretz Yisrael. So perhaps that says Beis Din needs to be a Lakim. It has to have godliness in it, and it has to be godly. It's not just a metaphor for a Beis Din. It is what Beis Din is. Beis Din is God acting in the realm of Beis Din. That's what Beis Din is. Beis Din is bringing the Eibishter into the world through the Beis Din. Okay, if that's the case, makes a lot of sense. The connection to Smicha to Hegdish. You can't create something godly that's not fit. You can't create a Beis Din that's not fit. Make them godly. Now, who has the power to bring godliness into the world? Only one man. Moshe. He is the one that can do it. And that's why it says, Moshe Rabeinu Samcha v'shas aleim Shechina. That's what Moshe can do. That's what the Rambam writes. Now, when he goes back to the whole concept that it goes all the way back to Moshe, who did it with his hand, is because Moshe is the one that created it and creates it till today through his surrogates. I was thinking, by a carbon, you need smicha. Moshe created this elikim, the Shechina concept, that's why he did smicha with his hand. And once he did smicha with his hand, everything follows. All of them follow. He created the elikim aspect of Beis Din that now can be transmitted from one to the other without the hand, because Moshe is the hand that can do it. So every smicha comes from Moshe. Now, why Yeshua? Why does Yeshua come into that thing? Yeshua, because Yeshua is the one that takes from the hand and can bring it over without a hand. He can bring Moshe's hand to you without using his hand. So that's why you need both. And that basically what we're saying, and the Urim says this really in Siman Aleph to some degree, that he says that Moshe's hand is called, the reason why it's called smicha because of Moshe's hand. That means Moshe's hand is being semich everybody today too. He is creating that. In other words, really, you do need smicha biyad, but it's there. It's there through Moshe. And all his surrogates that come from Moshe are only being are only taking that which Moshe gave them and giving it over without having to use their hand, because their hand is not what it's about. It's Moshe's hand that it's about. Perhaps that is the concept of humility. And that's what you're learning from Moshe, the humility. Av kol dain sorach lias onav. As it says in Tanya, Alter Rebbe writes that Ashras Ashchina can only be through Bittul. No other way. And the same ideas that in the Kutateri, right, in the Alter Rebbe writes in Parshas Bikudei. He says that only Bittul is what brings this Yichud with the Eibishter. And that's the meaning of Benachnu Mo. So therefore, Moshe is the one in order to make a lekim, it's through Moshe. And therefore you need Midas Hanava. And that's what the Melech Mishnah says. That comes through Moshe. And that's what it says, who tachas Moshe Rabeinu, because Beis Din is only because you're coming with the koyach of Moshe. He's standing in the place of Moshe. That's the way Beis Din works. So the Moshe aspect of Beis Din is not just a nice idea. That's Beis Din. Beis Din is the agents of Moshe being able to continue. And that's what smicha is. Smicha is Moshe's son. Smicha of Yeshua is continuous and constant. Now to note that although we said it has to go in a certain line without any interruption, as we said, the Rambam holds you could interrupt and reinstate, but that reinstatement means that you have the power to bring back that whole. Not only bring back smicha, but bring back Moshe. The koyach of Moshe can come back through that process, and that's a different discussion. That's not for now. Okay, seid gesund und stark. Hatzlocher Rambam.